Hello there, it's Guðni here from Wake Up Reykjavik. And if you are thinking about doing a trip to Iceland, you've come to the right place. Today we are going to be discussing the top 11 things you should know before you go to Iceland. This video will help you maximize and make the most out of your stay here in our beautiful country. But before we dive into the video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for all things related to Iceland. We love to help travelers craft their perfect trip here to Iceland and make the most out of their stay here and give them our honest local tips. So hit that subscribe button and let's dive into the video. Here are 11 things you should know before you go to Iceland. Getting into the flow. Book guided tours in advance. Now first things first, you've set your mind to Iceland. Now how should you do it? Are you going to do a self-drive? Are you going to stay within the city and do day tours? Are you only here for a stopover and you only have a limited time? I mean, there's so many ways you can do Iceland. But what I always recommend, no matter your travel style, is to do guided tours. And the reason for it is simple really. Iceland offers so many unique experiences that you have to do as a guided tour. I mean, you can't really just gear up, go out there and start a glacier hike on your own, can you? And if you could, in theory, you definitely shouldn't. It's very dangerous. You need to have an expert guide there with you who can help you navigate the areas. So do your research. And I mean, you're already watching this video, so you're doing great on that part. And then estimate what experiences you really want to do. Perhaps you always wanted to see the Northern Lights, or do a glacier hike, or to ride a snowmobile on the glacier. And if that is the case, book that tour so you have an expert guide there with you that will help you maximize this once-in-a-lifetime experience to the fullest. And the reason why I say book it in advance is that a lot of our tours do tend to sell out. Take for example our 2-day South Coast Adventure Tour. That tour picks you up right from the city center and takes you to all the highlight stops of the southern coasts. And then we go even further out and visit the Glacier Lagoon at Diamond Beach. And those two sites are located so far away from the capital area that we actually do stay there for one night in a local guest house. And that accommodation is included in the tour with breakfast the following morning. Then on your second day, the guide will take you to either an ice caving expedition or a glacier hike, depending on the season you book. Then they will take you right back to the city center. So with this, you're doing 2 full days, maximizing your chance of seeing all the highlights on the southern coast and also doing a unique experience with an expert guide right by your side all the way through. They also include all necessary gear and even outerwear like rainproof clothing and hiking boots should you need it. And this is a fantastic tour where you're getting so much value for your money. But the thing is, they only take 12 people per tour, so it sells out super quickly, and if you don't do your research beforehand and book it with a notice, you run into the risk of it just being sold out. So that is why I say do your research beforehand and book with a notice. And even if your travel style is a self-drive tour, you are going to want to stop along the way to do guided tours, like a glacier hike or a boat ride on the Glacier Lagoon, because these are experiences you just can't do on your own. And those are also important to book with a notice. So these are just some examples of the many experiences we have here. Weather in Iceland. Now on to our weather conditions. They are unpredictable to say the least. And the weather here in Iceland can change really rapidly. And it's not uncommon here to experience all 4 seasons in the span of one day. So pack or rent layers and waterproof gear no matter the season you are coming. And don't underestimate the weather either. And when I go like this, an example photo pops up on the screen showing you the average temperature and weather conditions here in Iceland by the month. So you can estimate when you are coming roughly what the conditions will be. But no, this is a really rough estimate and no season here is really alike. When people ask us how long the Icelandic stay should be, I always recommend that people have some flexibility in their itinerary for unpredictable weather. Let's say a tour gets cancelled due to a storm. If you have an extra day in there, you can then move that tour to a day that hopefully has better weather, and then you're not missing out on that tour. This is mostly aimed for our winter travelers, but the weather here can be rough all year round. Especially in the summer, you can expect wind and rain. So hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And always check safetravel.is and road.is for weather conditions and road conditions. And remember what they say, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. But I think we have bad weather sometimes, so. Start your trip off right. When you land in Iceland, remember to factor in that it's going to take you about 45 to 60 minutes to get out of the airport. And then it's going to take you another 45 to 60 minutes to get to the capital area. The airport is located in Keflavik, but our capital is Reykjavik. Then you have to check in, drop off your bags, all that stuff, so you can't be doing a tour 2 hours after you land here. It's just not feasible. So for the first day, depending on your arrival time of course, do easy activities that can give you a great foundation for your trip, like our award-winning Reykjavik food walk. It's gonna give you a great feel for the city, and it's also gonna get you acquainted to our culture and customs, and you will get the chance to hang out with a local for 3 hours where you can ask them anything Iceland related. On that tour you will also hear fun stories and tips that you can then use throughout your stay here. So it is the perfect first day activity. Other great activities to do on your first day would be a whale watching tour, since it only leaves from the city center, and a puffin tour in the summertime. Horseback riding tour might also be a nice one for a first day, or if you just want to have a relaxing stroll through the city center and then a nice dinner in Reykjavik. That can also be a great first day. And since you're a subscriber to our YouTube channel and watching this video, when you book any of these tours on our website Wake Up Reykjavik, you can get a discount when you type in the promo code 11things. So get adjusted, do some activities, but factor in your arrival time and the time it takes to get out of the airport and into the city. Don't overpack your schedule. Now let's say you start your Iceland trip in the best way you can by joining the Reykjavik food walk. You're walking through the city and the local guide is giving you all these fun recommendations on things to do and see, and you're talking to other travelers who maybe just finished off their Iceland trip and they're also giving you great recommendations and tips on things to do, but you're just getting stressed because you booked so much while you're here, you don't have a single minute to spare to add some other things in, and you realized, I'm just getting stressed on my vacation. Now we don't want that, and that is why we recommend not overpacking your schedule. It is important to book things with a notice, but it's also important not to fill out every single minute for your stay here. Both so you can be adjustable if anything with any tours change or the weather condition, but also so you have time if you hear about something cool and exciting during your stay here, or if you just want to have a relaxing afternoon in the city. And I do understand that this is a fine line. There's so much to see and do here in Iceland that I understand that people come here on a once-in-a-lifetime trip and they really want to cover as much as they can. You're not going to be able to cover everything unless you come here for a long stay. So like I said in the beginning, choose experiences that are really important to you, do those in a great way, and have some time to relax during your holiday as well. And I guarantee you that before you leave, you're gonna be planning a return trip to Iceland. Paying in Iceland. The official currency of Iceland is krónan, however, we are very card friendly. And you can use your card virtually everywhere here. It is not necessary to carry a lot of cash with you, but we think it's good to take out some krónas to have on you just in case, but definitely don't overdo it. We use credit cards with PIN numbers here, so be sure to know your 4-digit PIN number by heart, because you might be asked to type that in as you pay. Budgeting. Iceland is expensive in many ways, but it doesn't have to be expensive in other ways. Does that make sense? So allocate your budget towards experiences and save in other ways. Like we have been discussing, for some things, if you want to do them, you're going to have to pay to do them. For example, a glacier hike. But in other ways, you can save money. Bring a reusable water bottle and fill it up. You can do it anywhere here. Purchase alcohol in the duty-free shop on your way in. Stop by some cheap grocery stores to get easy breakfast, and book your accommodations and flights during the off-season and with as much notice as you can to save. Those are just few examples, but we do have a more detailed video on our page about how expensive Iceland really is. So if you want to do a more deep dive about budgeting in Iceland, I recommend you guys watch that video. Set your Iceland budget in regards to what experiences you want to have here and how much you are willing to achieve those experiences. So I like to recommend starting with setting your Iceland budget in a way where you look at the experiences that are really important to you and how much you're willing to spend on those experiences, and take it from there. Language. While Icelandic or Íslenska is the official language of Iceland, English is widely spoken here. So communications won't be a problem at all for any English speakers. If you want to learn a few words in Icelandic, here is my 10-second Icelandic lesson. Are you ready? Yeah. And go. Hi is hi, bye is bye, já is yes, nei is no, takk is thanks, takk fyrir is thank you, for more politeness. There we have it. Easy as that. Whoever said Icelandic was hard. Safety and driving. Iceland is one of the safest countries in the world. However, when it comes to nature and driving here, you need to be cautious. Always follow safety signs and stay on marked trails when doing hikes. And note that the speed limit here is 90 kilometers, which is just about 55 miles per hour. You can brief yourself on driving rules and common signs you might see on the road or by popular attractions on safetravel.is. And then we ask you to use your common sense. Don't drink and drive, don't venture out in storms, and if you're not experienced with driving in snowy and icy conditions, don't do it. The signs are there for a reason and are not to be ignored. And this is also a factor of why we recommend guided tours. Because when you do those, you have an expert guide there with you every step of the way, who knows how to drive in every conditions and is also familiar with the area, rules, and any safety regulations that might apply. Stay safe and use your common sense. No dangerous selfies. No walking on active lava, you guys, to take selfies. Yeah. I shouldn't have to say that, but we do. You watch this video, you're smart, you're gonna stay safe. I believe in you. Respect nature. And with that, like we ask you to mind our signs and rules, we ask you to respect our nature. We have a very delicate ecosystem here in Iceland, so please stick to marked path, no ripping out or walking on moss, definitely no off-roading, and dispose of your waste properly. A great rule of thumb is just to leave an area as you found it, and if you don't, the Icelandic trolls will curse you with 7 years of bad The Northern Lights. If you'll be visiting between September and April, you will have the chance to see the Northern Lights. However, sightings are never guaranteed, as they depend on solar activity, clear skies, and other factors. So we ask you to have realistic expectations of the Northern Lights. Believe me, those photos you see online are definitely real, and when they show up, they can show up in the most magnificent way you can imagine. But then some nights we just catch a glimpse. And then we have everything in between. So my number one tip for you is to book your Northern Lights tour early in your stay. That way, if you don't see any lights, you can rebook for free to have another go. And if you do it early, that means you have more days where you can do a retry. So they are never guaranteed, they depend on so many factors, but when they are out and amazing, they sure are. Swimming in Iceland. Swimming. We go mad over our geothermal water here, and we have hot springs, pools, and lagoons all over the islands. And I highly recommend take a dip into those to get the full Icelandic experience. I would say for any trip, definitely do both a nice lagoon, but also a popular pool. But do know that you have to shower naked before you go into the water. Yes, naked. We do that so we are able to use less chemicals in our water to keep it cleaner for everyone. It's definitely not a big deal, it's a big part of our culture, so just show up, shower, and enjoy. And that's a wrap on the 11 things you should know before you go to Iceland. If you have any further questions for me, just drop them down in the comments below and I will get right back to you as quickly as I can. If you have any other ideas for videos we should do, please also include those. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for all things Iceland travel related. And we hope to see you here in Iceland soon. Bye. I don't know what to say bye. Oh, so awkward.